Of the 30-plus women presidents I talked to this season, hardly any of them had set out to become one. That surprised me. We picture the people in these offices as careful planners, people who mapped the route early and climbed it rung by rung. And yet, that isn't the story that I kept hearing. Most of these women were not chasing the title at all. They took the work that mattered to them, said yes when they thought they could be useful, and looked up years later to find themselves running a college or a university. What moved them was not ambition, it was purpose. And in a stretch this uncertain for higher education, I have come to think that may be the steadiest thing a leader has. Lori White, president of DePaul University, told me a story that gets at this better than I can. Like a lot of the women I talked to, she never pictured herself as a college president. Then, during her presidential search, she had a moment that changed how she saw the whole thing.
And when I saw that blank space, a voice from above literally said to me, Lori, they're going to offer you that job. And when they offer it to you, you're going to say yes. You're going to say yes, not for you. You're going to say yes because it's important for future generations of DePaul University to know that somebody who looks like you can be president of DePaul.
After that, the job wasn't a job anymore. I heard a version of that shift time and again this season. The women I found most compelling were not after the prestige of the office. They wanted to use it for something. The same thing came up with leader after leader. The job grew out of service, not out of wanting the job. Mary Dana Hinton, president of Hollins University, spent years crossing sectors before she could see what tied her career together.
I was compelled more by the desire to create and support educational equity than by a single title or single industry. I just want young people to be able to get an education. I didn't aspire to be a college president. The title is lovely. It connotes a lot about what I do each day, I guess, but that's not what drew me to this work. The mission, the work itself drew me to it.
For Hinton, the mission was always the thing. The title came later and almost beside the point. The same conviction ran through my conversation with Rona Free, president of the University of St. Joseph. Her whole philosophy traces back to being a first-generation student and an immigrant, to the people who bet on her before she had proven anything.
I realize I got to where I am by people being willing to support first-generation students and students from diverse socioeconomic backgrounds. So I came from a family that had no one with a college degree, but very willing to take risks. They migrated to this country when I was 7. I benefited from people saying, you know, she may not have a lot of resources behind her, and she may not have had some of the experiences that other students have had, but she seems like she's willing to work hard and will take a chance on her. For me, always is to realize that just like you can't judge a book by its cover, you can't judge a student from what you initially see, and that if you have any question about a student, it's always better to bet on the student and assume that they will use whatever resources and capacities and abilities they have to make the best of themselves.
Two very different lives, and underneath them, the same sequence. The purpose was there first. The leadership came to fit it. For Susanna Rivera Mills, president of Aurora University, it started with family. Her family came to the United States during the Salvadorian Civil War, and her first goal had nothing to do with a college presidency.
I did not set out to become a president, right? I was not a young woman saying someday I want to be a university president. As a matter of fact, honestly, given my experience with my family, immigration, etc., I had one very simple goal, and that is that I wanted to be able to help my parents financially.
Over time, though, it grew into something past her own family. And by the time she became Aurora's first Latina president, she saw it as bigger than her own arrival.
I see it as an incredible privilege and responsibility to be able to portray that and be an example of that and pave the way for others who will come after me.
Purpose often starts close to home with our own story. The thing these women kept doing was turning that story outward toward other people. Purpose doesn't just tell you where to go. It helps once you're there and the ground keeps shifting. Cynthia Teniate Matson, president of San Jose State University, was as clear on that as anyone I spoke with.
It's really important to understand your personal purpose and the personal purpose that connects with the role that you have.
The pressures on a president right now rarely resolve into an obvious right answer. Enrollment, money, political crossfire, technology, the workforce, a public that keeps moving the goalposts. What purpose gives you is a way to sort them, a sense of which decisions actually matter, and something to hold on to when a stretch gets genuinely hard. The longer I listened, the more I came to think purpose isn't something you find once and then set aside. It's the thread that runs through an entire life. Helene Gale, president of Spelman College, showed me that as plainly as anyone. Her career reads like several different ones: medicine, public health, CDC, the Gates Foundation, CARE, the Chicago Community Trust, and then Spelman.
The through line has always been, how can I help further equity and social justice? I really was drawn to this role because I felt like it was the chance for me to give back to the next generation of young women who I hope will continue to make a difference.
Over a montage of her roles, different organizations, different sectors, different titles, same purpose. That's the question that eventually brought her to Spelman. If there's one thing I'd take from all of these conversations, it's this: leadership, in the end, isn't about reaching a position. It's about answering a question. What difference are you here to make? These women got to their answer by wildly different routes: through hardship, through family, through service, through doors that happened to open. But once they had it, it organized everything that came after.
It's just a real privilege that we have to lead institutions where we can create environments where others can achieve their goals and excel. It's just so wonderful to realize that, I may have played a small, tiny part in helping them to achieve what they wanted to achieve.
Believe in your mission. Commit yourself to that mission and what matters for you.
In a stretch like this one, when higher education needs leaders who can stay steady and keep moving, I'm not sure there's a more useful thing to know. The ones who last, as far as I can tell, aren't the ones chasing power. They're the ones who never quite lose the thread.